The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Don't forget to drop a like on this stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content as and when it comes up, just like this. So just thought I'd do a quick little recording. It's become apparent that this protracted saga at Old Trafford, where you've got Sir Jim Ratcliffe in one corner and Sheikh Jassim in the other, who is a Qatari billionaire banker with his family is said to have a net worth of approximately £275 billion. So some seriously wealthy people that we're talking about there. And it appears now that Sheikh Jassim has run out of patience, and it now looks like he's pulling out of the race to take over at Old Trafford. And of course, there's been a lot of whispers about West Ham, obviously the embarrassment clause that the late David Gold and David Sullivan had weaved into the lease agreement with London Stadium, obviously expired earlier this year. So it sort of makes you sort of think, is there any possibility? And there's been a lot of talk about, you know, rumours of takeover of sort of like Qataris and Saudis and this, that and the other. And it's something that I've often sort of had a little bit of a wrestle with my own sort of thoughts on this, and I'd be very interested to get your guys' opinion on it, because I'm quite conflicted. I mean, if this happens, I mean, if Sheikh Jassim does sort of have a look at goings on at London Stadium, and Gonzo put out the video the other day on Hammers Chat about the whispers about there's going to be no money to spend in January. So, you know, what's going on there? What's happened to all the money we got from Declan Rice, for Gianluca Scamacca, from Nikola Vlasic, from those 3 signings? You know, sort of like pulled in quite a bit of money. What, 150, 160 million, something like that? I don't know. Maybe a bit less. But it then sort of makes you think, you know, well, is there maybe sort of like some goings on behind the scenes at West Ham? I mean, I know that Kieran Maguire has apparently come out and said West Ham are cash rich, but, you know, who knows? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I'm not a businessman. I'm not a football club chairman or anything like that. But I just do wonder whether, you know, there's any possibility that Sheikh Jassim might look at what's going on, and sort of like London club. You know, we're in Europe. We've got a pretty high profile. You know, we're not top 6 level, but, you know, London club, big stadium, 62,000 every home game, pretty much. I do wonder if we might be a proposition for him. He might sort of look at us and go, you know, that's a club that's on the up. That's a club that it could be a good project, something to really get his teeth into. And, you know, some of the pros, I mean, let's face it, as I say, he's a Qatari banker. He's a multi-billionaire. His father was the Qatari Prime Minister at one point. He also had something to do with the running of PSG, I believe, back in the day. And as I say, the family's net worth is approximately £275 billion. I mean, it's an absolutely staggering amount of money, and it's an amount of money I can't even begin to imagine what it even looks like, let alone trying to spend it. But whilst the riches and whilst sort of like the players that we could possibly look to attract off of the back of that, the competitions that we could possibly realistically challenge for, getting into Champions League, competing for Premier League titles, which, let's be honest, if we've got that sort of firepower behind us, that should be something we should be looking to do. But then I'm quite conflicted because obviously, I don't mean to be funny, the Qataris don't exactly have a great human rights record, and it's one of those things that, does the money, does the advantages that gives us, does the potential success that we would get off of the back of it, does that override your moral stance on things? All of the things about human rights abuses and certain sections of society that the Qataris sort of don't particularly sort of give a particularly easy time to, sort of like gay people and transgender and all the rest of it, that the Qataris are sort of have a little bit of a track record with, shall we say. So does the fact that we could potentially, and like I say, who knows what's going to happen, I'm just putting it out there, there's whispers abound. 2 and 2 doesn't always make 4 though, but just suppose in a parallel universe Sheikh Jassim does go to London Stadium and thinks to himself, okay, this is a going concern, and he turns around to David Sullivan and the David Gold estate and Daniel Grutinsky and puts an amount of money on the table that is too good an offer for them to turn down, and we end up having Sheikh Jassim as our de facto owner of West Ham United Football Club, and all of the money and all of the sort of like the wealth it brings and all of the players that we would get off of the back of it, all of the success coming at the cost of being associated with that type of regime. Is it something that sits well with you? Is it, are you able to turn around and say, do you know what, I don't really care, I'm not sort of into politics, I'm not sort of too bothered about that sort of thing. All I'm interested in is West Ham United doing the best they can, and if this guy can raise us to the next level of competing for the top 4 places, of competing in Champions League football year on year, of possibly competing for the Champions League itself, competing for Premier Leagues, if this guy could elevate us to that status, which we're not currently at, but if he could, I'd be willing to hold my nose and go for it. Could you turn around and say that? Or would your morals trump that particular narrative? Would your conscience be of the sort where you would say, actually no, I'd rather not have this guy even associated with West Ham United Football Club, to be quite honest with you? I don't know. Everybody's got an opinion on this. I don't know what the right answer is. If Sheikh Jassim is looking at London Stadium, is he a realistic contender? I think he possibly could be. So I think we have to consider it as a possibility. And I know that maybe David Sullivan has turned around and said he doesn't want to sell. He'd ideally like to move it on to his son and have them take it over at some point. But let's be completely honest, money talks and bullshit walks. If someone was to put down an amount of money that makes it too good an offer to turn down, then, everything has their price. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'd never say never as far as that's concerned. If it comes to pass that someone puts down an amount of money that David Sullivan says, okay, yeah, I've got to go with that, then it could happen. It could happen. So let me know what you think. Is it a case of, if Sheikh Jassim puts some money on the table, you'd be happy to entertain it, and you'd take all of the riches and all of the success that would come off of the back of it? Or would you be turning around and saying, morally, that's something that doesn't sit right with me? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell icon and click all. We'll see you again soon. Come on, you Irons.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies 7 distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.